Les questions que mes générations se posent sont les suivantes, si je peux me résumer. C'est de ne pas comprendre comment l'Afrique, avec tant de richesses sur notre sol, avec une nature généreuse, de l'eau, du soleil en abondance, l'Afrique est aujourd'hui le continent le plus pauvre. L'Afrique est un continent affamé. Et comment se fait-il que les chefs d'État traversent donc le monde à mendier? Voici des questions que nous nous posons et que nous n'avons pas de réponse jusque-là. Nous avons l'occasion de tisser de nouvelles relations. Et j'espère que ces relations puissent être les meilleures pour donner un meilleur avenir à nos peuples. Pour ce qui concerne le Burkina Faso, aujourd'hui nous sommes confrontés depuis plus de 8 ans à la forme de manifestation la plus barbare, la plus violente du néocolonialisme, de l'impérialisme. L'esclavage qu'on tend encore à nous imposer.
We had covered Famille Lavalas, their involvement in Haiti as well. We're gonna get into quickly. This is just quick discussion about the multinational force. So I'll pull up something here for the audience. Travis, pull up an article. So this is from news from this week too. Kenya considers leading a force in Haiti. What you need to know. So Kenya said is willing to lead a multinational force in crisis hit Haiti. The announcement represents a possible breakthrough for supporters of such intervention who have argued it is needed to address spiraling insecurity, gang violence, and a growing humanitarian emergency in the Caribbean nation. Last year, Haiti's interim government officially requested interim government, to be clear, de facto, it's their interim government, unelected government, officially requested an international deployment, garnering support from the UN, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and the United States. So Kenya, although, and we've seen, this is a trend I've seen, because I'll get back to it. This is a trend I've seen a lot with the Caribbean nations, and not to say, I look at the data, and still Haiti is worse off than most of the Caribbean nations service security. But with that being said, when I saw Kingston said they're ready to lead, I'm like, well, they have problems at home. Like Kingston is riddled, like the Kingston, Jamaica is riddled with gangs, and there's kids, like there's like 9-10-year-old kids getting caught with gangs and doing gang activity. So they have their own issues there. Kenya as well, two things. They've got their own issues in the capital as well in terms of murder, homicide, violence against women. And the police there also has a history of abuse against towards their citizens. Now also we've seen deployed, I believe it was the Bahamas that committed 150 as well troops. I have not checked the data into security, but the fact that 150, I don't see that's a significant number. Where I'd say, oh well, that 150 could go help in the Bahamas, but still they've got their own issues as well. But my main question is, from your perspective, how do you see this? And we spoke about this before too, but where do you see this going? Like now you've got a Kenya, an African. Like I said when we spoke on the phone, this went from U.S. to Canada because they didn't want to lead it. Asked Canada to lead it. Canada transferred this to Caribbean nation. It was left there at that, and now they went all the way to Africa asking for help. So, how do you see this playing out? Honestly, if you were to put your prediction, like, do you see if so? Two reasons. I'll lay this question out for you. If there is a eventual intervention, do you believe it'll be a multinational force with a multiple country actually going in and assisting, or do you think that it'll eventually one country will say, okay, time's up. This is what we're going to go into this. We're going to go and lead it, or maybe a UN resort to a UN type of occupation. What do you think?
Well, the first thing I would say is like the next meeting of the Security Council is like the most important factor. Like, will Russia and or China simply block the effort? Because as much as Kenya has said that they're willing to provide these 100 police officers, they were careful to say, like, based on this next meeting and the UN mandate and so on and so forth. And yeah, I agree more likely than not, it will be blocked. I think Russia, because of lobbying efforts, largely, the Russian embassy has a better understanding of the political situation in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
China, I don't know. They seem open to some sort of police force, but I don't know what's happening in the background in terms of organizations or governments reaching out to try to inform China what the actual situation is, and that he doesn't represent Haitians at all, and his approval for a multinational force is meaningless, and so on and so forth. Also, we got to differentiate between the Caribbean, CARICOM, and these two African nations that are showing an interest. Like the Caribbean, I think, just like Canada, have no interest in leading it, in part because they understand it's going to result in a quagmire. Haitians do not want a multinational force in their country. But also, it's totally self-interest. They also are dealing with an influx of guns, and they're also dealing with an influx of Haitian refugees or migrants, depending on how you view the Haitians who are trying to escape the situation in Haiti. So they're not doing it out of any benevolence to want to help Haiti. They're doing it out of their own interest. Like, they're often tiny islands. They don't have the infrastructure to take on hundreds of migrants.
Exactly.
They show up. And they're also fed up with their neighborhoods being flooded with guns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No wonder there's a gang problem in Jamaica. I don't know anything about Jamaica's internal politics, but based on the research of Professor Taminasha John, she said something to the effect of Jamaica is there's a huge Canadian military base there, and it seems to be a hub for moving guns around the Caribbean. So while because all the ports are privately owned by oligarchs in Haiti, there's no doubt there's some guns just going straight in.
Oh yeah.
But there seem to be some routes that go through Jamaica before you get into Haiti, and if they're going through Jamaica, then they could easily get to other islands in the Caribbean.
No.
So, and I also don't know anything about the domestic political situation in Kenya, but while in the Caribbean they kind of had this self-interest in intervening for those two reasons, to stop refugees from leaving Haiti and to deal with the gun situation, or to have more leverage against the United States in these negotiations, because the government definitely knows that the guns are leaving.
Yeah.
And just don't care. I couldn't tell you exactly what the interests are on the part of the leaders of Kenya and Rwanda.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, they themselves have no real credibility. They're authoritarians themselves, and have probably been offered some sweetheart deal in terms of investments in their countries that
maybe
going to benefit them.
Yeah. And for that point, I forgot to make a point. Maybe for Kenya too, they might not, assuming they do lead, maybe they have, I'd say, not less to lose, but maybe a little less to lose if they do go into Haiti. Just because also Dan Cohn had shared an article showing that the U.S. seems like the U.S. would fully help fund if Kenya were to lead. So fund in terms of weapons and whatever they need to do down there and do the job. So
yeah, which speaks to the Kenya leading, I think, is a joke.
Yeah.
The usual imperialist powers, maybe not France, but the United States and Canada leading it in any authentic way.
Yeah.
With Kenya providing the soldiers and maybe, providing the police, and being on the ground and so on. But I'm hoping that the lobbying from organizations in the United States, and hopefully by some people in Haiti that I'm not aware of, will lead to Russia and perhaps China just blocking it in the first place, and then they're right back where they were before. The fact that, or the strong likelihood that any intervention in Haiti will lead to a quagmire is certainly a factor in any kind of leader's calculations. And do they want to get bogged down that way? And the fact that the majority of Haitians do not want a military force in Haiti.
Yeah.
But whatever force goes in will inevitably be under the auspices of the State Department and so on. The American government will be leading.
The USA at the end of the day, it'll probably be that their names will be attached to it.